Hello and welcome everyone, and fast forward to a yoga and Pilates, best of yoga and Pilates corrective works sequence. We're starting with a sun salutation and standing, so come to the front of your mat, anchor your feet into the ground. Inhale, draw the arms overhead, exhale, forward fold, bend forward. Now you can explore a little bit here. Our first sun salutation is just for really warming up the body and feeling into our hamstrings here. If it's early morning, your hamstrings might be a little bit tight, so be gentle. Or if you have been working out and this is kind of your stretch mobility session, then you can go for it. Then inhale, come into tabletop. You can either have your hands below your knees on your shins, or pull your hands next to your torso, your upper body, with the thumbs opening to the sides, palms facing down, giving your upper back a bit of work. So contracting your shoulder blades pulling towards each other. And make sure your sitting bones are pulling backwards while the crown of your head is pulling forward, creating length here in the spine. Then exhale, lower down. Step backwards into low lunge with the right leg is stepping back. Low lunge, just exploring. And I really do like wobbling and rolling over my first toe joint here, just to give the foot a little bit of a stretch, especially since we have the luxury of being barefoot here. Keep breathing. And then we're coming into plank position, but this time we're lowering down onto our elbows. So elbows underneath the shoulder, both forearms are parallel in Sphinx position. Now brace your abs, pull the navel in, pull the hip points together, tighten the lower belly, and make sure your hips are more or less at shoulder height. So nice plank pose here, stability, working on shoulder strength, core strength. Planks are really a full body exercise because we have a lot of leg work in here too, thighs and calves. Then lower down onto your belly, no cobra here, but Pilates heel beats. So lower your chest down and lift both of your legs from your thighs, lift your thighs, and then beat your heels together. You can turn both legs out to work on your deep hip rotator, so outward rotation from the hip, lifting both thighs, and then quick beats with the heels coming together. Continue as long as you want, and then you might stretch up a little bit in a small cobra, just lifting your chest, and then press up over your knees into down dog position. Very nice. Still warming up, still mobilizing. So you can walk on the spot or shift the weight left and right. Make sure your spine is nice and straight, chest is open. Anchor your whole hand into the ground, pushing the mound of the index finger into your mat. Very nice. Then we're coming back forward. So we've been stepping back with the right leg. So now we're stepping forward with the right leg. This time we're stretching the other side, other hip flexor, left hip flexor this time, to conclude our little warm-up sun salutation before diving into a little bit more Pilates. Then step forward, forward fold. Maybe these hamstrings are starting to warm up a little bit more. Make sure to stretch the head. I like grabbing the base of my head, just pulling a little bit the nose towards the knee. Then bend the knees some, roll up into standing. Inhale, draw the arms overhead. Release those shoulders down and release the arms. Wonderful. Let's go for it. Hope you're warmed up. Inhale, draw the arms overhead, stand proud and tall, lift the chest, then exhale, fold forward, rounding the back, nose to the knee. If you want to, again, you can bring both hands to the base of your skull, just to allow your nose to come a little bit closer to your knees without pulling too much. It's just an anchor for your body to know which direction you want it to go, as our head is just free up in the open in gravity. Sometimes we're having trouble to orient the head. Then inhale, come up into tabletop position. Again, engage the upper back, pulling both arms backwards, palms facing towards the floor, to your mat, thumbs out. And now try to pull those arms backwards behind you as much as possible, lowering those shoulders and pulling those shoulders away from your ears. Great one. Come back down into full stretch, just releasing this back tone a little bit, and then we're stepping backwards with the left leg. Left leg is stepping backwards into low lunge, so left side hip opening. Again, you can explore here and twist or swing forwards and backwards and sideways. Even rotating the spine, whatever feels good, releasing those shoulders. Then we're doing something a little bit unusual. We're bringing the back knee down and then turning 90 degrees towards the video. So you should be on one knee and the other leg is standing out. Now flip over all the way onto your left hand and lift the right leg. So the right leg is going to start kicking forward, foot point, backwards, foot is flexed. Inhale, forward point, exhale, flex and backwards, while your upper body stays solid. So navel is pulling in, hip points are pulling towards each other. And you can bring the other hand, the free hand, above your shoulder or even anchoring at the base of your head. Again, allowing your head to find its position. So it's front, point, back, flex. Inhale forward, exhale backwards. Big exhale. Inhale forward, exhale back. Pull the navel in while you're exhaling. This is a great way of working your core and your hip stability, while working on your mobility of the leg which is working. Now some plank work, and up to you if you come all the way onto your feet or if you still need to lower one knee down. So try that one first, so you can come onto both of your feet or bring one knee down. So it's a little bit up to you if you want to have the upper foot forward and the lower foot backwards. Just make sure you're not slipping. I'm kind of having the solution here to have the upper foot forward and the lower foot backwards. Then if you want to do some extension here of the whole sideline, you can lift the arm overhead and draw your biceps next to your ear, extending the whole right side. And if you start to wibble and wobble and this is going to become a bit too hard, you can always come down onto your knees. But we're releasing soon, getting one knee down and then coming back into pivoting 90 degrees to your right side into our low lunge. Now let's add a warrior one. So your left foot turns 60 degrees in, anchoring the outer heel and your big toe mound of the back foot. Turn 60 degrees. And then lift both arms overhead facing forward. This is a deep psoas stretch, deep hip flexor stretch. So go as low as you can. You can always go in and out of the stretch. Maybe inhaling, lifting a little higher, exhaling, trying to lower down a bit more, and always make sure your foot is turned in 60 degrees, the back foot. So your toes are pointing towards you and not away from you. Always make sure it's nice and comfortable in your ankle. If anything hurts, just come down into normal lunge position, which is just having both feet parallel and not turned out. Then step forward, come again into releasing forward fold. That was our first wave. And then draw the navel in, knees bend, inhale, roll up, draw the arms overhead. And if you want to, you can change onto the other side now, so you can again turn towards the video. And if you find just listening to my cueings, you can always just stay where you are. So I'm changing position so I can turn towards you when we're now working the other leg. And you're free to do the same, or you're just staying where you are. So ground, feet parallel, push the heel into the ground, big toe mount, inhale, arms come overhead, shoulder lower down, exhale, bend forward, and release your whole back line. We should be pretty warmed up, so you can do tons of explorative stretches here, rolling over your feet or swinging left to right, stretching one leg then the other. Just feel free to explore. Then inhale, come up into tabletop, pulling the arms backwards, palms are facing down, thumbs out. Really try to engage your shoulder blades pulling towards each other, tips of the shoulder blades kissing. Push the crown of the head forward, sitting bones and tailbone are pulling backwards. Wonderful. We're getting ready for round number 2. So slowly lower down and come back into forward fold, nose to the knee. And then step backwards with your right leg. So first wave a cycle with the left leg. If ever you did the right leg on the first circle, just do the other one now. So if you followed me with the left side, now we're stepping backwards with the right side. Just make sure you're doing the other side. So right leg stepping backwards into low lunge, just opening the hip a little bit more before we start pivoting into our side kicks. So there we go. Lower the right knee down and then shift all the way over to the right side. Right hand is lowering down. Just make sure to pull your shoulder away from the ear for this side plank position here, and then kick forward, foot is point, kick backwards, flex, forward point, back, flex, forward point, inhale, exhale, flex, kick back, inhale, forward point, exhale, backwards, flex. Do this at your own pace, and the leg tends to lower down with fatigue, so make sure that you keep the foot more or less hip height. Very good. The upper arm, left arm can come behind your head, just supporting the head position. Head and spine are in line. Upper body does not move at all. So pull the navel in, hip points narrow, and just pull the lower belly in really, really tightly while keeping the kicking going. Inhaling forward, exhaling flex and backwards. Very good. If you need to have a break, you can always pause the video. Otherwise, we're coming into our side plank. So still right hand down, just step out into full side plank. Find your foot position. This time I seem to have the other leg forward. So just feel into which leg ever feels good for you. If you're having the lower foot forward, it's more like a back bend, but it's also fine. Then lift the upper arm overhead, biceps come near the upper ear. Sideline extension, nice side stretch. And if you start to fatigue in the shoulder or arm, just bring one knee down. If you can hold it for a little more, keep going, and then bring the knee down, step backwards, step into low lunge, pivot around to the side we were starting at, and we're ending with our last warrior. So turn the back foot 60 degrees, front foot is facing forward, front knee in direction of your second and third toe, and then lift the upper body, lift the arms overhead, chest and head are facing forward, while your hip is totally allowed to pivot a little bit sideways, to open a little bit sideways. So don't force the hip to come all the way forward. You might twist and hurt your knee, so it's totally fine if the hip is shifting out a little bit in direction of the back foot. Come in and out of the stretch, inhaling, lifting a little, exhaling, lowering down even more. It's our last pose, asana, then lower down, hands on the ground, step forward into forward fold, release all the stress out wherever you feel it. Big exhale, nose is drawing to the knee. You can bend the knees some, still drawing the navel in, and then roll up into standing. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Inhale, arms overhead, and exhale, release. Thank you so much. That was a nice and sweet yoga Pilates combo. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next time for some more workout in the Alps. Bye.